Hi, I'm Kyle, a product designer on the Secure Group team here at GitLab. Today I want to walk through our second iteration of something we've been working on called auto-remediation. And the following focuses on auto creation of MRs that contain fixes and solutions to known vulnerabilities. The follow-up step that we would like to do after this issue is auto-merging the auto-created MRs. But at the moment, the scope is limited to projects using Yarn with dependency scanning. But overall, we're aiming for a generic UX approach to accommodate multiple auto-remediation capabilities. So for example, another one that we're working on is auto-remediation for container scanning. So we'd like the UX for this to look the same across different capabilities. Let's just, for additional context, let's just take a look at what our current UX looks like for auto-remediation. So from the security dashboard, we show different vulnerabilities. In this screen, we're filtered down to dependency scanning. Again, our current capability set is limited to dependency scanning with projects using Yarn. So let's say that I hovered over one of these table rows, which is a vulnerability, and I took a look at more info. The information here is blocked out for sensitive information since it's a vulnerability, but the focus is on what we're taking a look at. At this point, I notice that there is a solution available. So one UX problem that I'll call out right now is going back to this screen. As a user, I wouldn't have had any insight that one of these vulnerabilities has a known patch, that a system actually has a patch and a fix available, not until I open up the details screen. So that's not so good. But either way, my options from here would be to resolve with a merge request, so that would create a merge request, download the patch locally, or create an issue around it. To follow through with this flow, we'll take a look. It would just open up the merge request, and some of the details provided would be added to the description. So that's currently where we're at. Again, what we'd like to do now is look at how we can have merge requests with fixes automatically created. So we're going to walk through what that might look like in the different areas, from settings, where the user would see the fixes that are available, and future considerations for this. Okay, so the current recommendation is that we have this on by default. That gets us a little bit closer to our out-of-the-box UX vision. Since the scope is limited now to just, like I said, projects using Yarn for dependency scanning, I think this is a good starting point, and it's an affordance that we can do, and hopefully we can keep that out-of-the-box experience like that, limiting the number of settings and configuration needed with it. Now, having said that, as we add new specific capabilities, we can continue to reevaluate that. But the recommendation is to have it on by default. Now, if what that would look like is it's currently on if dependency, in this case, if dependency scan is configured correctly, it would be activated. And of course, if they're using Yarn. If they wanted to turn it off, they would come here to the left nav to the security and compliance section and go to configuration. And we have this upcoming configuration screen that gives the status of whether or not a certain scan is configured or not yet configured. But we could also add the auto-fix vulnerabilities to this section. As you see, dependency scanning is configured, therefore, and this auto-fix is automatically on. If the user wanted to turn it off, they would have to just uncheck the box. There's an ongoing discussion about where to put certain settings right now. Since the configuration screen for secure exists, we went in this direction, but this is something we'd like to take a closer look at in some upcoming research to make sure that the information architecture is aligned with where users would naturally navigate to change settings like this one. Okay, so we have solutions available for vulnerabilities. Where would the user see this? And how would they know that these merge requests were created? Okay, so this would be based on our current capabilities. This would be located in two areas. One, again, would be where it is now on the security dashboard. And these designs are based on our current and upcoming work with first-class objects, which changes the table and the workflow a little bit, which we'll get to in a moment. But just want to show in terms of awareness where this would appear. And so in this case, next to the messaging icon, it takes priority that there's a solution available. Also, since it pertains to dependency list now, we're looking at the dependency list, and vulnerabilities are now shown on the dependency list. And if a fix is available, we can display the same icon for consistency. I think in the future, we definitely want to improve this visibility, but as an MVC and working into what some of our other work is, like I said, with first-class objects, we want to keep it as minimal as possible right now to make sure that our efforts are aligning as we're shipping different features onto the security dashboard, so we're not adding too much at one time. But I would definitely like to be more explicit about the solution being available. Yeah. Okay. So let's take a look at the workflows of the user identifying a auto-created merge request and the workflow going to that merge request to merge it. Something we haven't chatted about yet is, since merge requests would be auto-created, they would also appear in the merge request list. This shows this flow shows the user actually filtering down to show only the auto-created or auto-fixed merge request, and that would just be using the same familiar pattern that we have now, and that would be the user clicking into this filter input. And now we see that auto-fix is here. They could select that, and it's now filtering down by that. So they have two, they have some merge, some closed ones, and let's say that they click it. It's the same familiar flow that they would have now today with any other merge requests. From this point, they would just go ahead and merge the fix or not. Let's take a look at the flow when a user navigates from the security dashboard, as we saw earlier. And this is based on some upcoming work that has for first-class objects, where the security dashboard is a little bit different than we saw in our baseline experience that we walked through. So in this case, we see that there is a solution available. The user could click the table row, and in the upcoming work for the dashboard, the different icon options for more info are not there. That's there to simplify the experience. So in this case, the whole table row is clickable. And then they will land on the vulnerability information page. This just gives some data about what the vulnerability is and so on. From here, they will see that the solution is available. Let's view all. The call to action is to view the auto-fix merge request. And they click that, and then they land on the merge request. Some of the notes here are that right here with annotation 1, this would be the system author, so could be administrator, could be the GitLab bot, something of that nature. Human didn't create this merge request, so whatever the author may be, this, however we want to title that, it's still something we're discussing, but it seems like the GitLab bot or administrator of some sort would want to do that. Number annotation 2, it shows the title. We want to put in a sort of template here, which would be autofix and then CVE. In this case, that was taken from a description of the available patch. And we can give them a link in the description to how auto-remediation works so they can have a little bit more information about that. We can link the code change that's actually being made, and then description and so on would be extracted from the data that we have about the patch. As we create, one thing about the template that I'll say is that as we have new capabilities come along, we'll need to identify exactly what information we can put in there, and that'll really be a case-by-case basis. An example of what I mean by that is Adam Cohen is actually currently working on auto-remediation for container scanning. I believe this will be a follow-up to what we're working on now. But for the fixes that they have, here is some of the information that we have. So we could use the fix by as the title. We could use the vulnerability as the title. This is one of the decisions we would want to make, but either way, this is just to show some of the information that we'd be able to work with that we could put into that MR template. And each capability may have a slightly different type of data set that we might be working with. Okay, so just going back to that. So that walked through the different flows. Just some other considerations is on the subject of new capabilities. They would be seen here. You could filter down by autofix in the merge request area, and then you could further filter by the precise type of scan that is. So perhaps dependency scan, container scan, whatever the names are of the future capabilities. And in this case, we're showing just all fixes. But all this to say that this direction has a consistent UX for these future capabilities. Another idea that we want to explore is we want to continue to bring more visibility and awareness to these auto-created MRs. And just general visibility to the feature. This is showing a messaging that's in the security dashboard that's bringing attention to security vulnerabilities have been found that have fixes. Merge requests with the fixes have been created. The user could click this, view security fixes, and this could take them to a pre-filtered page on the merge request page. There's a few things that could be helpful with this is kind of bringing visibility, as I said, to the feature. It's bringing awareness to the user that these auto-created merge requests have been created, and this is giving them a direct path to that. And when they land here in the merge request page, there is a certain aspect of learnability here that the autofix exists there in their normal workflow. So that may help them understand the feature as well. Another thing is this may be useful in our second step, which I said earlier, which is auto merging of auto created merge requests. In that case, you could have a potential issue with auto created merge requests that are getting auto merged that fail for whatever reason, and we want to bring that to their attention. A similar type of messaging could be brought to them in those outlier cases when we want to let them know that 1 out of 10 or something, or a small handful of auto merge did not pass or the pipeline failed. So this can be used in some different ways. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up the MVC proposal that we're discussing for auto-remediation. Yeah, if you have any questions or thoughts or feedback, don't hesitate to reach out to me directly at kman@gitlab.com, or just jump right in the issue and let us know what you think. Thank you.